I just need some time to figure things out with Eric. That single sentence, so casually spoken across our kitchen table, was the blade that cut through 4.5 years of marriage. Her tone was calm, measured, rehearsed even. She wrapped her hands around a coffee mug like she hadn't just dismantled everything we'd built with a name I hadn't heard in years. Eric. The college ex she once called immature and toxic. The one we used to mock together in bed, tangled in laughter and late-night stories. And now, she was leaving me to try again with him. She said it might not work out. That maybe, if things didn't click, she'd come back. I didn't cry. I didn't plead. I just looked her in the eye and said, okay. And something in her shifted. A flicker behind her eyes. She thought she had won. That I would wait. That I'd remain in place, frozen, just in case her grand experiment with nostalgia didn't pan out. What she didn't know was that I had already seen the texts. We met 7 years ago. She was wildfire, magnetic, chaotic, breathtaking in her messiness. And I was the calm, the anchor. She said I made her feel safe, grounded. I built a world around her disorder. I bought a house, installed a darkroom in the guest room for her photography, paid the bills while she figured things out. And I believed in us. I thought I was her future. But now I understand, I was just a layover. The man she hoped she could love, but never truly did. I might have stayed in that lie forever if she hadn't forgotten to log out of her account. The first clue was a rideshare receipt. Drop off at an unfamiliar address. Same night she told me she was working late at a friend's loft. The second, a photo posted on his private Instagram, the one I had to create a burner account just to find. It was taken in our backyard. He was wearing my hoodie. My hoodie. I didn't shake. I didn't cry. My heart didn't even race. It just stopped. Like a circuit finally blown after too much strain. That was the night I stopped being her husband and started becoming her ghost. Revenge, people think, is fire. Screaming, crying, slamming doors. But real revenge is surgical. It's cold. Clean. I began with the finances. Quietly, methodically. I moved half of our joint savings into a trust in my name. Legal. Untraceable. She never noticed. She hated looking at numbers, so I made sure the numbers would hate her back. Next, I contacted a lawyer, not to file for divorce, not yet, but to prepare. I printed out every bank statement, every screenshot, every inconsistency. I mapped a timeline, gathered receipts. I bided my time. She said we were on a break. So I gave her exactly what she asked for, and took back everything she'd taken for granted. Day 12 of the break, she began testing the waters again. A text, I miss our talks. Translation? Eric didn't live up to the fantasy. Translation? She wanted me to keep waiting. Plan B was still on standby. I played along. Said maybe we just needed space. She smiled, relieved, hopeful. She thought the door was still open. And I needed her to believe that, for just a little longer. I invited her to dinner. Candlelight. Her favorite wine. She thought it was a reunion. But it was reconnaissance. I've been thinking, I said, about what you said about needing time. She nodded, softened. Then I reached under the table and handed her an envelope. What's this? Proof that I listened. Inside were documents. Termination of all our shared investments. Cancellation of her access to the studio lease. Full transfer of business assets into my name. She was left with nothing. Not even the spare key. Her eyes widened. Panic surfaced. You can't just. I can. You asked for space. I gave you a vacuum. 2 weeks later, I sold the house. Quietly. Legally, it was mine. I had bought it before our marriage, never added her to the deed. One afternoon, she showed up with a duffel bag, exhaustion written all over her face. I think I made a mistake, she said. I nodded. You did. Several. She looked around, disoriented, noticing the moving boxes. What's happening? I'm moving. You don't live here anymore. And in a few hours, neither do I. I handed her a second envelope, heavier. Divorce papers. Financial records. A complete, chronological account of every lie she thought was invisible. Every night she thought she was clever. Every kiss she thought no one saw. This isn't revenge, I told her. It's closure. Yours is the door. She didn't cry then. But later I heard through friends, Eric dumped her. No job. No savings. No home. The studio was gone. Her name soured in certain circles. Clients backed out. It turns out, not everyone wants to work with someone who lies so easily. She called once. I let it ring. Not out of spite, but because peace is louder than any apology she could offer. Revenge isn't loud. It's not chaos. It's absence. It's taking away the air from someone who thought you were their oxygen. She wanted to revisit the past. I gave her a future without me in it. She thought I'd be waiting. What she didn't realize was, I left the moment she did. And revenge? Revenge is an art. And mine? Mine didn't leave a single thread untied.